I stopped at the wish there was anyone there. Well, the rain took on cruise. But enough is enough. He's spread it out. Pretty good. Before the budget. It's funny.
He's good. Join us on. Bruce got be here. Yep. We got none of their so here. All right, 7 o'clock, Monday, April 17th. So we'll bring the Pleasant Hill School Board meeting to order. Our first order of business is Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next items are mission statement. Rusty, would you please read our mission statement?
Yes, our mission to graduate all students with high levels of academic and personal achievement, ready for post-secondary excellence, prepared for productive, compassionate citizenship through research-based instruction and a collaborative system of school.
Thank you, Rusty. 2.0 changes or deletions to the agenda. Do we have any?
The only have is the revised exhibit that's in front of you, the 22-23.106 that will replace the exhibit 22.316 in your packet, which is under 8.2.
Orderly and public.
Yes.
What was our attendance at the previous board meeting?
There were 10 people online and 25 on site.
Okay, thank you. And then, audience, would you please introduce yourselves?
I am Lisa Daniel.
Rich Streetnack.
Deborah Stumper. Jennifer.
All right, thank you all for being here. 4.0 presentations and student communication. So,
So coming up, we have prom, which is this Saturday. It's gonna be at the Veterans Memorial Building in Eugene. It is a starry night. And a group of juniors have been working alongside Ms. Watt and Mrs. Pleasant Planet. They've been doing a great job so far. Also in the news, TVs are finally up in the school, except for the high school wing, but that'll be coming up shortly. And then spring sports, track, they have a meet next Wednesday, and softball and baseball have been doing good as well.
And then we have Spring Fest on May 9th from 11 to 1. Sorry, May 19th from 11 to 1:35. Currently planning that in student council. So far, we're going to be doing powder puff where the girls play, the boys coach, volleyball where boys play and girls coach. potentially a bounce house, and potentially Kona Ice, the shave ice truck, a cornhole tournament, and then a spirit week for the week prior. The themes we have not decided yet. For field trips, there's a few happening next week. There's a trip to LCC for seventh graders. Forest Field Day for sixth graders, and then FFA and ag classes have been going on field trips recently as well. And then, at the Jazz Festival this last weekend, Solar Jazz won first place in their division. And it was the first Pokemon Jazz Fest since before COVID, and it went super well.
Hey, thank you for your presentation. Do we have any comments or questions?
I have a question. Whatever happened about the library, last time you talked to us a while back, a student petition?
Yeah, I have not heard anything about that.
I think we're still working through the financial details of that. And then we're gonna engage students. So communication was put out, it sounded like there was a student in particular that was kind of pushing it with misinformation, so we're working to inform the student body through the daily bulletin.
I just had this vision of people saying, take care of our library and posters. Glad it's what it is.
I just wanted to say, I really appreciate you guys coming and doing this once a month. I really look forward to it, just hearing your guys' perspective rather than just the figures. So, thank you.
Well, thank you very much for your presentation. Appreciate it.
Thank you guys.
That's okay.
5.0 is public forum. Individuals who are on site during this portion of the board meeting, members of the public are invited to present items of commendation and or concerns at the discretion of the board chair. Further public participation may be allowed at the time specific agenda items are under consideration by the board. Individuals who are viewing online, EHSD posts the upcoming agenda on our website the Friday before regularly scheduled Monday school board meetings. This will allow for public comment prior to the school board meeting. Please click on the tab provided to share your comment for the school board to consider at the upcoming meeting. Personnel matters may not be discussed in public at a school board meeting. Members of the public who have personnel concerns or accommodations should share them directly with the district superintendent. So, do we have any comments from audience? We haven't had any online, right? 6.0 is recess to our work session. 6.1 would be to interview our budget committee applicants. We have a couple open positions and we have a couple of applicants. So thank you both for applying to be here tonight. You want to give us just a quick rundown of your biography?
I am running for school board, and it was brought to my attention that there was this opening on the budget committee and that could be a good lead in to joining the board. And this is probably not the best thing to say in a budget committee interview, but I feel like that's probably my weakest point on being a board member. I've never dealt with budget or finances with a thing this big. So I think joining in and learning the process and seeing how it goes and starting to build relationships with you all would be a great addition to my set of skills. I have a first grader and a third grader at the elementary. So I'm just always looking to be involved in what's going on with them and what's going on at school. My day job, I'm an X-ray tech in special procedures at the dental limit.
Now it's a great time to get involved when you have kids at that level in the school
Yeah,
district.
They got a long way to go, so.
It goes fast. Believe me.
keep hearing that.
Any questions for Jack?
No, I just want to say I was exactly the same position many, many years ago. You'll figure that out fast.
All right, Rich.
Sure. Like I said, my name is Rich Driezak. My day job is a financial advisor. Work with local family and small businesses, mostly here in the Eugene Springfield area and across the country. Been on some boards before, done some finance committee stuff before, been on the education side, worked for, volunteered for private school doing financial aid award, which is like the best board meetings ever to be in. It goes down when you're arguing about who gets money and you have no amount, so that's always fun. Been on the Fern Ridge Chamber of Commerce back when I first moved to the area. Some other things, church boards and whatnot, but I honestly just saw that it had been open. I was open like a year ago, and apparently I missed the memo that I was supposed to show up for that, so if any of you remember that, a different guy, same name. But I made it here tonight, thanks to your office making sure I was here, so happy to answer any questions, but I'm more so wondering, you know, what are you looking for? Happy to serve if it's like, hey, we need more bodies, but I always like to know what's expected of me because I like to deliver, so. Never been to a finance committee meeting with this school district, so I have no idea what to expect. If you're all laughing, that's also what we need to know. So yeah, it's kind of my rundown. We also do have kids in the school district. My wife and I, they're all in middle school and high school at this point. Yeah.
So we'll have an indoctrination meeting for the budget committee here, which Sherry will host coming up soon. And she kind of overviews how the state budget funding works for school districts. And it's very interesting to learn about, at least for me, it was having originally no idea of how the public funding worked. And there's a lot to learn, but Sherry's very well versed in school budgeting. So there's basically, I think probably the key role for a budget committee member is to be someone who can communicate with other folks in the district what's going on, and you know, things, there are a lot of rumors that get spread and misrepresentations. And so it's nice to have some ambassadors out there who can clarify those things and you know, have an understanding of the school budget, kind of how the system works.
That's helpful. And I always think it's nice to get another perspective too. So you have the board side, and then there's the administrators who are here, and it's also nice to have community members who also can give their input on what's important and what they want to see in the future. So.
Cool. Thank you.
Well, later here in our agenda, the next item, we have an item to approve budget committee members. So, unless there are other questions for Richard, Jennifer?
No, just very glad that they're volunteering with us.
All right, then we'll move to 8.0 board action items. We can probably take. Well, I guess we should discuss the 8.4. I was going to say we could take the first four together. But 8.4 is revised academic calendar. What happened with the calendar we approved?
You want to start with the first career, just jump ahead.
I'll let you jump in with the calendar. Didn't we,
So yeah, you previously approved one, so I guess being new to the district and looking at this, the November 22nd, it's the Wednesday of Thanksgiving week. My assumption is that there's a non-contract, non-paid day. It is it's a paid day, it turns out, for the 19th and 20th of the district, for the teachers working essentially an extra 4 hours on the 19th, an extra 4 hours on the 20th. So what that did to our system is that gave us 192 days of contracted work where we were budgeting for 101, which is normally what we have. So bring that back into the paid day, Reducing the year by a day gets us back to 175 school days, which is exactly what we have right now, and not 91 days, so contract work classified as school for sure. Seven.
So it's under shortened school year day.
Uh,
That's not hours wise, but calendar.
not compared to this year's calendar and previous calendars. Yeah. Still the same at 175. I thought I found this an extra day.
I'm sorry, I guess I thought we'd try and get all four at once, but I think we probably should just look at them again, do them one at a time. 8.1, approve the April 3rd, 2023 board meeting minutes. Were there any issues with the minutes? No, and look for a motion.
I move to approve the April 3rd, 2023 board meeting minutes.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Second.
Aye.
I'll second.
Rusty seconds. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, 8.2, approve third quarter enrollment report ending March 31st, 2023. Need a motion for that.
I move to approve the third quarter enrollment report ending March 31st.
Second.
Any further discussion there? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed. 8.3, approve third quarter financial report ending March 31st, 2023.
So Johnson's fifth quarterly, I do have a presentation for it.
Okay, I have a question for you too, so
Well, go right ahead.
you want to start with your presentation, maybe it'll clear up my question.
Maybe, okay. You have the board packet. Starting with the monthly activity report, shows the activity of the general fund for the first 9 months. Prior year property tax revenue has already surpassed our budget by $23,000. And interest income has increased quite a bit through the higher balances in our LGIP, as well as improved interest rates this year. So our revenues are coming in higher than we had expected. The rest of it, expenditures look to be on track as expected. And there's not a lot of specific about that. Do you have a question on this
Yeah,
sheet? Okay.
I looked down the number under contingency and that doesn't. What else is in there? Because our contingency is not that much, I know that.
The 3.4.
The contingency is. That's interesting. I think, well, I know what it is. It's the contingency of 2% plus the unappropriated ending fund balance.
Okay.
I'm not sure if it's always been grouped together or if it's been separated, but I will definitely check on that. But those are the two numbers. And that would be why you'll see in the next sheet, which is the general fund overview, that the contingency is not in the projection because we don't intend to use that. Yeah, it's 233,000. I do think they are reported together, but I will double check it. So the next report is the general fund overview. It does have projections. It has our encumbrances through March 31st. And we have reduced our expectation of the state school fund due to 2 offsets. Our higher tax collections make us get a lesser state school fund. So because we've been collecting a little higher than expected, we probably will drop our state school fund expectation. And in the transportation grant, we haven't had as many buses as we originally budgeted for. So we have sent in new estimates to the state. And with
our hope is that that adjustment, which is about 150,000, will come out of our next state school fund payment, which is in May. And if it is, then we're looking at our more real amount for the state school fund. Otherwise, they will adjust it in next year's. And I talked to ODE today, they don't know whether it'll be adjusted in May or in next year's revenues, but regardless, we will be taking less money from the state. Our common school fund is $38,000 higher than the number that the state gave us originally. That's a number they always start us out with, but it's an estimate from their side, and then the reality of what they collect comes to us, so we got more money out of there. So we have done projections for expenses. Where you see a larger overspend in purchase services is mostly because we had 2 positions that we didn't fill, and we ended up using purchase services for that. So it's going to make less money in our salary and benefits, or less spending in salary and benefits, and more spending in purchase services. Other than that, our projection is to be under budget in the rest of our expenses. Any questions on that sheet? All right, the next one is our cash and investments. It's showing the balances of our accounts that we hold. The LGIP, you'll see we had much higher interest earnings. They have bumped our interest rate up, and we have a large balance in there. So that is part of where we are over budget when it comes to interest.
Is that still, that isn't much though?
More than it was.
30%,
Oh, what?
1/3%.
Well,
I would have thought that they used to be very, very good.
they were a lot less like last quarter, so they are at least moving up, but it's not as good as it used to be a nice savings. But we're really forced to use that fund. We can't shop for a different fund for our investment.
That's a bummer.
As normal, we transfer our funds into general checking and to payroll as needed. The general checking account is rebalanced to about 100,000 at the beginning of each month, and payroll account is rebalanced to about 10,000. And the rest of the balance is kept in the LGIP because it is safer funds for us. And then my last report, I'm sorry, was there any questions on that? My last report is the special, the reserve and special revenue funds. So that's showing our activity in all our reserve accounts on the top part of this report. And then the other 2 reports accounts that I report on is the preschool and food service. So they are outside of our reserves, and they are accounts that are supposed to be self-supporting. So those showing your current expenditures and revenues in there. That's all
All right, thank you. Questions for Sheriff? Motion to approve that?
Move to approve the 3rd quarter financial report and May 31st.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Right. 8.4 approved revised academic calendar 23-24. Thank you, Jim, for your earlier presentation on that. Anyone have any questions on it? Oh. And I will move approval of the revised academic calendar for 23-24.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay. 8.5 approved budget committee members. We have 2 open positions and 2 folks here to apply. So I think we need a motion to appoint those folks.
I'm motioning that we approve for two applications for Rich and Jennifer and add them to our budget committee for this year.
Second.
All right. Second, any further discussion?
When does term start? You don't know.
Just about immediately, isn't it?
Yeah, this budget meeting.
It is tomorrow. Is it a 3-year term? I don't know.
Yes.
All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All right, welcome aboard. We're really happy to have you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
8.6, approved teacher appreciation week resolution. May 8 through 12, 2023. And look right here, we'll read that. Pleasant Hill School District #1, Teacher Appreciation Week. Whereas teachers mold future citizens through guidance and education. And whereas teachers encounter students of widely differing backgrounds. And whereas the county's future depends on providing quality education to all students. And whereas teachers spend countless hours preparing lessons, evaluating progress, counseling and coaching students, and performing community service. And whereas our community recognizes and supports its teachers in educating the children of this community. Now therefore be it resolved that the Pleasant Hill School Board of Directors proclaims May 8th through 12th, 2023 to be Teacher Appreciation Week. And be it further resolved that the Pleasant Hill School District Board of Directors strongly encourages all members of our community to join with it in personally expressing appreciation to our teachers for their dedication and devotion to their work. So we need a motion to adopt this resolution.
Oh, I move to approve the teacher appreciation week resolution.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Well, that unanimously passes.
We have plans for what we're going to do for the teachers besides this passing resolution.
No, we do not.
That's what you have.
I'd agree with you. Do you have a suggestion?
No, I don't. We've done various things in the past, you know. For many years, we just, all the board showed up and served ice cream, so we all showed up, and it wasn't the ice cream, but we stood there and scooped it out, and, you know, and it was a lot of fun for us, and it was fun for the teachers to see the board and the people. Lately, we did do it during the pandemic. There's always questions about ice cream is not healthy. Although I just read a high-level article in this month's Atlantic, that the secret prize about how good ice cream is for you. I've not read the article yet. But it's all going to point out that maybe it's a little juvenile and maybe people would prefer to have a, you know, more of a substantial gift of some kind. Gift card or something. I'm open. Giving it some past history. Okay. So I might defer to our principal, what was your style? Appreciate it.
Food is always a good choice.
We've never heard of food. And then the staff does enjoy what you guys think.
Yeah, I think that's great.
The wonderful touch, the personal touch.
Activities in one right now, they're in that might be a good day or days that you could
Tuesday, Thursday.
It's a Thursday, you know.
Would be a good time.
You guys let me know what's in your calendar and then we'll shift things around.
Although we could meet that Friday, let's see, just make a shift.
think we need a subcommittee of the board to explore what we need to, our options. I mean,
My ask Steve what he thinks. He's done a couple of good cards.
you hear that, Steve?
She was cutting out a little bit. It's kind of hard to hear Wilda if he's so soft spoken. I could tell she was volunteering me for something.
Your opinion, Steve.
I like the idea of any opportunity we have to get to interact with the teachers in an approved manner. I fully support, because I think I've mentioned more than one occasion that I feel that that's something. It was one of the most disappointing aspects of being on the board, is realizing that you don't really get to interact with the teachers very often. So if that means doing an ice cream feed, I'm all for it.
Sounds like ice cream it is.
I'm happy to have sure, but maybe if it can come, good.
You want to determine what the date is?
No,
No,
For that kind of knowledge.
I have to make it work, whatever we.
okay,
But hopefully, Kim, you can get ice cream and finalize stuff for us. If you. If I have ice cream, I'm trying to copy. Other ice cream.
about Garth and Deborah, do you want to, between the two of you, figure out what date, time?
Would a Friday afternoon be better in your work schedules? You guys let us know a little bit too.
Friday afternoon would be good.
For me,
We could do early release. And just, there's lots of time after 1:30. 45.
Yeah, it works for me.
So May 12th.
May 12th.
Last second. Give me my calendar. Don't have to do May 12th. I have a conference goes May 10th and 11th and the home on the 12th.
Okay. We can do afternoons at the elementary after 2:30. Monday or Tuesday,
Yes.
what that does to everyone else's calendar.
Monday's fine.
Monday is kind of good because, we have sleep off right with ice cream.
It's a great way to start the week.
Yeah, it works for me too.
So Monday that's at the 8th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2:45, that way you don't have to deal with the crazy parking lot and the buses and.
Monday, May 8th, 2:45.
Generally done like one location for all the staff to come over to, or?
Typically, we've done it elementary and then high school. But, not half of our staff have to come. I could do it here, but then they have to come here. Take it there.
So start here at 2:45 and then bounce over, is that generally about 3:15?
That would be great.
Yeah, that's not too late.
No,
Like parking lot. I mean, we could start earlier if you guys don't mind the parking lot. Cars begin to fill up, I kid you not. 12:30. This year, I've got parents who sit out there at 12:30.
2:45 sounds good.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe that takes care of all of our board action items. Reports, information, superintendent report.
Just got a few things. I was able to make the Jazz Festival on Saturday. There looked to be about 50 schools, if not more. So super excited just to see one more event coming back into the fold after the pandemic. Super fun event. I don't know if you guys have had a chance to actually attend one in the past, but it's really interactive. It's nice to see the judges be able to get up and talk to the kids afterwards and interact with them on how they can improve. Our Booster Club has an auction April 29th in the Valley. They've got some good steam rolling as far as getting tables sold. If you'd like to attend that, their website is up to date for tickets to be purchased. And then our Education Foundation is currently planning what they call a breakfast on the I think they're still working on the date. The other thing that they're working on is a recruiting little event as well. We're looking at using one of the storefronts up in the store area up there. We're still working on the date and time for that as well. So if there's some interest or anyone that might be interested in on the Education Foundation, we're going to do some recruiting for that as well. The next month I'll have a little bit of an update. Things have really shook out as far as the legislature goes. There are a few bills that have made it through committee and there's one, for instance, with special education for classified staff as to some funding that would impact, well, actually wouldn't impact the student determined, but that's in the ways from chairs, co-chairs right now. But I think next month will probably be a better time as well. We're seeing it shakes out. Come back to you before this happening. We'll see. Yeah.
Questions?
I have a question, but it's not really, it's more for the math group. They had a great math presentation last week. I was really interested in it. I'm not a math person, but I came back home now with no material and I went over the new flow chart, great flow chart. But I noticed that robotics is over on the side of the chart or somewhere. But if you're going to take an advanced math, they don't take robotics. I thought that was, I was worried about that. Robotics is really a good experience for that robotic competition is amazing. We've taken part in it before.
Yeah.
We haven't lately, just I have a grandson at a different school who was heavily involved in it. So good for him. And it was just an amazing scene to see that robotics tournament. It was like a football game on steroids. There were cheerleaders and there were, fans playing and there were filled with parents and hundreds of people and these robots going out there like crazy. And, coaches that helping the kids. It was just amazing.
Yeah.
And so, and it was a lot of, those kids are no slouches. Not that any of our kids are slouches, but it seems like our kids who are taking all the advanced math ought to have a chance to participate in something like that as well.
For sure.
So I don't know how that fits into our, unless they can take that as an elective somehow, as well as taking the regular math classes.
And that is part of what they talked about, the 2+1. So with the two being the algebra and geometry would be the two courses for math that every kid would have, and +1 are those additional classes.
Right, the way that the flow chart, and the way the choice of that, if either you go into robotics and construction math and stuff, or you go into physics and statistics.
Yeah, that's not necessarily the case. I'm sorry that was misleading, but there, so as Jim said, you've got algebra, you got geometry, and then you can kind of pick what you want in terms of the +1.
Yeah.
What we'd have to work out with the staff is if there are prerequisites that would need to be taken to get into and be successful in the class. And that would really be what the flow chart would be. First. student straightening that out, but otherwise the +1 is generally. Or if a student wanted to go calculus route and they did their 3 classes, they could still do an additional +1 on top of that, which could be engineering and robotics, if those were being offered at that point in time. And I understand that what they provided for me was kind of big picture. I don't believe we have all of them. Original way, I think we can move on, which is next year.
It's gonna be engineering,
Engineering.
but we invested quite a bit of money in the past to robotics, so that'll definitely be one of the kind of features. But engineering class,
I hear it, I was
yeah.
concerned about that. Thanks.
Right? 10.0 word communication. Things to communicate.
Yep. I would bring to your attention that the school health advisory committee is still looking for a board member to serve on it. The meetings are about once every 6 weeks. And we meet, hopefully you can hear, I may volunteer you for this.
I'm sorry, Wilda, you're breaking up.
I believe it. I believe it. Anyway, Jack did have a discussion of whether there was still a place for Jack in our current situation, and we agreed that there was. That, it's still important to kind of guide the health of the district, keep an eye on all kinds of health issues. So we're trying to revitalize the committee, and all we have is an assignment to speak to various groups about finding a shack. And my assignment is talk to the board. So I've not talked to you. The committees are from 4 to 5, and they keep them very close to that time scale, and you can do it virtually from what this do. So it's not a big commitment, but it's a good group. And I know one thing we're planning on next year is have some kind of a community health fair. Not sure what that's going to look like. Sort of way to have a new group to help them. We've done various things in the past.
What's the fundamental purpose? Why does it exist?
Yeah, fundamental purpose is because it's been around for about 15 years, maybe longer. And originally there wasn't any kind of coordination or very little coordination in school district for health, physical health classes and so forth. And the council did some mental health work. There was never one group that kind of looked at everything. So it served as an advisory to the board or the superintendent. We decided the superintendent on health curriculum. So we're looking at overall, and that's a little thing we try to do, but overall it's to keep an eye on the health of the staff and the health of the students, physical and mental, and provide some funding when we can to promote whatever teachers think they need for the health of their students, and to bring health issues of the community attention. It's been big, and sometimes some years it was huge, and sometimes years it was smaller.
And Rusty, we had updated the one school board policy that in social emotional health. So there's some advisory basis in that as well.
Yeah, we thought that was missing, although our school, we were doing a lot of things for them, probably didn't cover that. We put that back in.
We have bargaining tomorrow night, so we're not gonna be able to attend, but one thing, and you'll see it, if you go in tomorrow, like the new TVs. We're really trying to focus on mental health and some of those things, so maybe talk with that group about what and how we get some of the other information out to our students. We already have some, but there's a space in there to really share.
And this might be really good to revisit probably in either our August or September board meeting. We have new board members for this position as well, and look at as far as somebody may want to take the role in this model.
Any other communication?
Well, I have one more. You're gonna miss me.
I
I just
will.
want to say that in the elementary newsletter, I talked about story time, the preschool story time, and a good thing that is. I think that I'd like to make the minutes to show that at least this board member does think there's tremendous, that you provide. This, so. I know when I was, I had preschool children and I was home with them all day, we didn't have the story time. Yeah, it would have been just great.
Both of my grandkids attended.
And then,
Yeah. Thanks.
not my grandkids are in college. But they probably can if they could. they're just the worst. That's all I got.
All right. 11.0 other business. Other business. 12.0 next meetings. Board meeting and budget orientation. May 1st, 2023, 7 p.m. Right here in the Pleasant Hill Community Center. And we're adjourned.
Good night, everybody.